Those hassles and headaches.
Let's talk about that. So let's face it, regardless of where you live, there's always going to be some things you may not be crazy about, some things you have to overcome or just learn to live with.
Well, and if there was that one town that was absolutely perfect, everybody would want to live there and the prices would be astronomical.
Not to mention crowded. So talking about Peachtree City, we do have some other videos. We have some links below that introduce you to the planned community, the village concept.
So it started in the late 50s. It really got going in the 80s and 90s, had a building boom during that time. So these homes are getting 30 years old.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it later. We do have some newer construction, but a lot of the homes, when people are coming to look at them, they are 30, 40 years old. And
it really doesn't matter if you're in the entry-level price point or you're buying a $1.5 or $2 million home. A lot of these houses need some love, and you can buy that $2 million.
That's what David likes to say.
You buy a $2 million home, and it's still going to need updates and repairs. There are a lot of these homes that have been well maintained. The kitchen is still from 1982. There are other homes that maybe had some updates, but they haven't been as well maintained, and you're going to have to replace windows, roof, HVAC. The list can go on.
And that is something that shocks a lot of people when they come. So we talked about, we don't want to be Debbie Downers at all, but that is just the reality of our beautiful community. So something that we wanted to share with you guys. Now the upside is a lot of people, they just embrace it and they say, you know what, I'm going to update my house. I'm going to finally get that kitchen I've always been wanting.
So instead of buying that house that has a beautiful kitchen, but it's not the exact kitchen you want, you can buy that house that needs a new kitchen and make the kitchen that you want.
So when we look at numbers from last year, your median price point for 2023 was $550,000.
And that is a double-digit increase from the year before, which is down from the year before that.
Yeah, so it gives you an idea that, yes, you are going to pay a little bit more, but it seems to be a very good investment to live in Peachtree City.
So there is a very limited inventory in Peachtree City. On average, over the last couple of years, there's been 20 to 40 homes for sale in the 30269 zip code.
At any one given time.
At any one given time. And one of the reasons for that is people will move here, they'll raise their families, their kids will go off to college, and they just stay and retire in the same house. They don't want to leave.
Well, and you talk about building new homes to alleviate that. Well, we're a little bit landlocked in Peachtree City, so there is not a lot of new construction, which when people come and they look at the resales, that, as Dave likes to say, need a little love, automatically the response is, let's look at new construction.
So, and you have some new construction options if you're buying in the luxury price point. If you're not buying in the luxury price point, your new construction options are pretty much gone at this point.
So for definition's sake, we call luxury price point anywhere from $700,000 plus. So as Dave said, we have very limited new construction. We have some new communities coming, but they are going to be well above $700,000. And if you want a big yard, that's the other kicker.
It's not there. Even these luxury price point homes that are new, they're going to be on smaller lots. It's going to be less than a half acre, and some of them are quarter acre. And you can get some bigger lots in some of the older homes, but it's still going to be mainly an acre or less.
Yeah, it's going to be an acre at the most. There are a few lots within Peachtree City, and these homes were built in the late 70s, 80s. They are kind of on the outskirts of Peachtree City, and they are larger lots, but again, that's the minimum.
And they will command a premium price for that land.
They will. And if you want a big lot, you probably are going to need to look outside of Peachtree City because you're not going to find it. So if you're relocating from the north, or maybe you're not relocating from the north, but you are used to a basement and you just want to move to Peachtree City and you think, I'm going to be able to get a basement.
So, yes, you can get a basement, but it's probably less than 40% of the homes in Peachtree City have basements. From our friends from the Northeast, you're used to all the homes having a basement.
Anywhere you go, you're going to get a basement.
But in Georgia, the only basements are walkout basements. If you don't have a walkout basement, you have a swimming pool down the stairs. And the north side of Peachtree City has more basements. The south side of Peachtree City has less. You can get them in both, but you will have a walkout basement. And the nice part about a walkout basement, of course, is you're going to have that wonderful sunlight.
So we discussed that Peachtree City, or alluded to, it is a planned community. And with that comes some regulations.
And it's probably more regulations than your average city. Of course, all cities do have their own city regulations. The one that tends to get people moving here is if your tree in your yard is grown to a certain size, a certain diameter, you have to get permission from the city and a permit to cut down a tree in your own yard.
A lot of people don't care for that. There are a lot of other city ordinances that they do have listed on their website. The Peachtree City website is a great resource. We often refer people to it. There are other things besides the cutting down a tree.
But that's the one that usually gets people's attention.
Well, and because, as Dave likes to talk about, we have loblolly pines. So why don't you educate them on loblolly pines?
So loblolly pines are not the most desirable tree to have in your yard.
And we get a lot of them.
And a lot of people in Peachtree City, once these trees get large, and they will get big, and they can fall over in a windstorm and take your house out. So people will spend thousands of dollars to have these large pine trees removed from their yard.
But you got to get permission to do it.
You still have to get permission to do it.
And that's just one example. There are some other things. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to answer to anybody for anything, then Peachtree City might be problematic for you.
You might want to move out of the city and go out into the county where you have a little bit more freedom.
So Dave and I have discussed in other videos that we're from this area, grew up in this area, but we did move to Dallas, Texas for about 10 years.
And Dallas, Texas, if you haven't been there, has a plethora of shopping and restaurants. If you're a foodie or you love to shop, you could go to a new store or a new restaurant pretty much every week for decades and never go back to the same place.
And you didn't have to drive very far. We only had to drive 15 minutes, and I had multiple malls. I mean, you just had lots of choices. So if you're used to that, it's going to be something for you to...
It's going to be an adjustment.
Yes, thank you.
To move to Peachtree City.
We have a lot of restaurants, but again, it becomes, what are you used to? So if you are used to like a city environment, big city environment, where you can go to a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different stores, it is going to be an adjustment. And you are going to have to drive a ways to do that, and maybe as much as 45 minutes to really have all those options.
So last but certainly not least is traffic. So Peachtree City, 98% of Peachtree City, your traffic is easy to get around. There's one intersection, 54 and 74. And if you're there at the wrong time of day, going in the wrong direction, and that's where most of our shopping and most of our restaurants are, the traffic can be frustrating.
And again, you know, as we've talked about in another video, I talked to somebody that had relocated, one
from
of our
LA,
clients.
yeah. And he's like, traffic? You gotta be kidding me. That's not traffic. It's all a matter of perspective.
But, you know, it is not a comparison to the Atlanta traffic where it can be stop and go, or you have to drive 90 miles an hour. It's not that way. And, you know, we are getting more shops. We are getting more restaurants, but they are kind of on the outskirts of Peachtree City.
And for almost everybody in Peachtree City to get to all that new shopping,
you have to
go through that intersection. Hey, if you like these videos, do us a favor, like and subscribe, share with your friends. It really helps us out.
Absolutely. And if you're moving to the South Metro Atlanta area, please reach out. You can email us, call us, text us. We'll get right back to you.
It doesn't matter if you're looking to move in a week, a month, or a year. We'd be glad to help you out way in advance.